Hi, it's Raven, but you can call me whatever you want. I just don't care. Today I'm going to be telling you about the insanity that is my dream world. Okay, I think I'm gonna make it a series because the dream I'm talking about today has four parts. Yes, four consistent days where I had dreamt a continuation of shit. It was just wow. Anyway, a little about me. I tend to lucid dream. So I usually can control everything, but I lack senses. In my dream, I can see, I can hear, I can't smell, I can't touch, and I don't really dream about eating, so I don't really taste anything either, I guess. If I do touch something, it feels like when your hands are asleep, and it's kind of I don't know. It's the tingly one, not like the painful tingly one, but like the regular tingly one, and that's what it feels like. Anyway, so I just wanted to let you guys know that I usually feel like I'm slipping into like this alternate reality when dreams like the one I'm about to tell you happen. So when I lucid dream, again, I don't have senses. But there's like this point where sometimes I switch into a different type of dream, I guess. And the best way I can put it is me at like that you see right now is very hyper aware of everything that's going on inside the actual dream, but I don't have control. Usually the first trigger is some kind of smell. If I smell anything, I instantly know, well, there goes my control over everything, and it's like I'm Lizzie McGuire sitting in the back of, a little cartoon sitting in the back of my head looking at what's going on and internally screaming, don't do this, don't do that, or trying to get the me in the dream to react or respond or do what I need them to do to either help them and shit like that. Who cares? Let's see. So today is going to be about none other than Logan Paul. I've never met him. I've never watched any of his content or anything like that. Not at least not on purpose. I've seen clips here and there from like drama channels and the regular this person's talking about that and stuff. I assume I started having these dreams because everybody was so hyped up over the Mayweather fight and stuff that just happened. So whatever. Um so yeah. This will be part 1. Um so it starts off like a regular dream, and I'm kind of just on a plane ride to Florida to see my friends. So I have a group of those of you that watch me on Twitch, you hear all of my Florida friends like a lot. So you would know these people that I'm talking about. So we have Emerald, Penguin, Danny, Jules, this girl Sarah, and then Emerald's brother and future sister-in-law. So we have that. So this stream starts off where I get off my plane at the Fort Lauderdale airport because that's the closest one to them. I usually in real life I'll take a red eye flight, so it's usually around like 5-6 o'clock in the morning that I get there. However, for some reason this one was more close to like 7-8 o'clock in the morning, and I tried to rent a car in real life when I go out there because I don't want to wake anybody up and stuff like that. But for whatever reason, in this dream, I had Emerald and Penguin pick me up. So I get off the plane and I'm walking to bag. I'm walking to baggage claim. It's baggage claim, and so I'm just trying to like get to the baggage claim, and I'm not paying attention because I'm trying to text Penguin to see where he's at. So I'm literally writing text messages, and I see myself writing text messages to Penguin, and then all of a sudden it hits me. I smell a Paco Rabanne 1 Million Gold Bar, which is my favorite cologne for men to wear. So when I do, like, usually if a man's around, I will smell the Paco Rabanne because it's a very potent scent. Like, it's something that I can remember very vividly. Or I'll smell Vampire by Body Fantasies, which is discontinued, but it smells like cotton candy. And it was my favorite perfume, I guess, back in the day, um, when it was readily available. So, um, yeah, so I'm heading to the baggage claim, and I smelled that, and I'm still not really paying attention because I'm on my phone or whatever. There's an announcement going on in the background, and then I just bam whack right into somebody. I'm not really paying attention to who it is, but like I apologize, and my phone flies out of my hand. So now I don't have my phone, and I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm not paying attention. And this person is like, oh, no worries. And at this point, I've switched into the back of my head or whatever. I usually call it my inner monologue because it's like I'm monologuing and that's all I can do. Like I'm shouting at the me in the dream and I can't really do anything. So I'm just trying to like my inner monologue is like, wait, did they just scoff at me? Like, what the heck? And then I start sniffing, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's definitely Paco Rabanne. And then my inner monologue self is like, oh great, so I've lost all control over everything that's going to happen, and now I'm in movie sequence mode. And I'm just over, I'm literally in my own head, like, yeah, okay, who is this person? And I finally like look up, and it's Logan Paul, and I'm just like, yeah, you know, Florida, of course. Like, why wouldn't it be? Why wouldn't it be? Like, only I would think of this shit. Sorry, I curse a lot. I don't know if my editor is gonna bleep it or not. Feel free to do whatever you want, Uncle Lego. You can even put like a little Lego person that comes up and talks what you talk and stuff because much love to my Uncle Lego. So, apparently in the on the over speakers or whatever, they're saying that my baggage claim had changed. So I'm literally yelling at myself, hey, you're at the wrong baggage claim. You gotta go somewhere else. And I'm just like, oh, okay. But I'm still like, oh, it's Logan Paul. And so I just said, oh, you smell good. It was my favorite scent. I would, if I smelt it on anybody in real life, I'd just be like, "You smell good," and then I'd walk away because I just have too much going on in general for me to just engross myself in what's happening in front of me. So apparently, I look very ditzy, and Logan is like 6 foot something or other, and actually, he looks like my friend Emerald, like build type and height and or I guess body type, maybe more muscular. I don't fucking know. Anyway, so I'm talking to myself and I'm like, oh, here we go again. Oh, it's Logan. Shouldn't he have like guards or something? And maybe he does, but again, I'm not really paying attention to it. But my inner self or self-conscious or whatever you want to call it, it's just like, all right, so whatever. So then he's like, wait, do you not know who I am? Because I just ran into him, told him he looked good, and then I tried to turn around and look for my phone because it fell out of my hands when I smacked into him. So um so I have everything written down because I tend to get off track like I'm doing right now. So if you see me like looking at what's going on like in front of me or looking down, it's because I'm like reading my notes on this dang dream that I had, okay? So, um, he's like, "You don't know who I am." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know who you are." And then turn around and try to look for my phone again. Um, and then I was finally paid attention to the baggage claim like notification thing or whatever, where it tells you what flights are at this claim and whatnot. So I'm looking at the overhead, and I noticed that my flight number's not there, and I'm like, crap. So then I start like looking around to see which one, if I could see the from the ones around me, which are ones are gonna have it. Again, this didn't happen in real life. This is literally a dream. It's a dream. This would probably never happen in a million years because the odds are just insane. Even though insane things tend to happen to me, it's just a thing. It's this would never happen. Okay, I don't know what I was thinking, what I was dreaming. Okay, so um, I my inner monologue is like, what kind of question is that? Like, does everybody just know who you are? I'm sure there's people without social media that don't know who you are, have never heard of you, and stuff like that. There's people outside of the loop, you know? Not everybody knows who Logan Paul is, okay? Not everybody knows. I'm certain of it, you know? People don't pay attention. Just like I don't know the celebrities in, well, a lot of places. Like, just because I know who he is doesn't mean, I know who he is as a person or how he reacts in general or whatever. I don't watch his stuff. I don't know what he's like. This is all made up in my head and what I guess I subconsciously think he's like in person. Could be true, could be not. I don't care. This is what happened in my dream. So, uh, now I'm realizing how tall he is, and I'm like, just like, okay, you're like really tall. Granted, I'm only 5 foot, so everybody is basically taller than me. So I'm ignoring him. He's probably trying to get my attention or something, and I'm looking around for my phone because, again, I'm trying to get in contact with Penguin, and I need my phone to see if he's outside or where he is, and whatnot. So he Logan then taps on my back, and he's like, "Is this what you're looking for?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, thanks." All right. And so I turn around and I start heading to the baggage claim or whatever, to the other side, to find my stuff. And I look at my phone and see that I have missed calls. So I try and call back, and I let him know that I'm waiting for baggage claim, or what, at the baggage claim, and I tell him whatever the new one is that I can't remember. And so I was like, sorry, I I dropped the phone. I lost the phone. And he's like, what do you mean you dropped it? I was like, well, I ran into someone. He's like, what do you mean you ran into someone? I mean, you know me. I just flat out ran into someone. This isn't the first time I ran into someone. A few times it's been like full speed that I like smacked into someone, not because I wasn't paying attention to what was in front of me, but focused on what I was chasing. And this was one of those semi moments. Um, so now there's a difference between my inner monologue and the inner me, I guess. So not only am I like watching everything that's going on, like an outer body experience, but there's also the voice in your head that's like, what the hell just happened? On top of my actual dream version of myself. It's a really weird thing to explain, and there's a lot of stuff that goes in on it. um, so he's like, so Penguin says, because I'm still on the phone with Penguin at this point. Why aren't you paying attention to where you're walking? And I'm like, do I really pay attention to anything? When I'm talking to you, like, why am I paying attention to my surroundings when I'm talking to you? And he's like, true. I mean, that sounds about right. Um, so he's like, I'm over here or whatever. I'm coming in. Emerald's doing another round of going around and whatnot. And I'm like, okay. So I meet up with Penguin and we go to my baggage claim. And we're still waiting for my stuff. And so then Logan shows up and he's like, guess who? And then he looks at Penguin. He's like, oh, is this your boyfriend? So I say, well, that's not really your business. Why'd you come find me? And Logan says, I don't know, actually. I just had to come find you. No explanation. Sounds about right. And so the inner me is like, okay, this is weird. And then my inner monologue is, you're telling me this is weird. So now I'm literally talking to myself. Which again is, I'm weird, okay? You'll find this out. If you watch me on Twitch, you know things get, what the heck? Um, but yeah. Um, so oh my god. So I can see my bag is finally coming out, and then I reach for it, and Logan reaches for it and takes it. And I'm just like, what the heck, man? What's wrong with you? Can I get my bag? And he's just like, um, uh, crap, how did it go? Oh, so he's gonna lift it over his head because, I'm short. But, so he has it over his head, like just on top of his head, resting, like people do when they're strong and stuff and don't want short people to reach it. So I tell him, okay, either give that to me or I'm going to kick it out of your hand. And he's like, well, no, you can't. That's not gonna happen. And I said, if you think that's gonna stop me, you got another thing coming. So I jump up and I do this fan kick. I was a dancer growing up, so fan kick goes like this way instead of like, or it's not around. It's different than a roundhouse kick. So I do a fan kick and I kick my bag out of his hand, and Penguin catches it, thankfully, because I had to make sure nothing breaks. So Penguin Penguin is then like, she made me a shrimp, but if she can do anything, she can kick everyone in the face. Doesn't matter how tall you are, she'll kick anyone in the face. And so Logan's like, how the hell did you do that? And I'm like, Pangu! So excited because he got my bag and now we can just get over this nonsense and move on with our lives. And so Penguin usually calls me Mama because my old account before this current one it started with Mama. I go by several names, so you'll hear me called by anything from nicknames I've had when I was a child to like I was a professional scare actor, so I have monster names and like my old account names and my real name and stuff like that. But yeah, so um, Logan's now like, oh, so he is your boyfriend, and I look at him and I say, that doesn't matter to you. So Penguin and I start walking outside. We turn around and we start walking outside, and he calls me by my real name. And he looks at me, or we all look at him in shock because that's the, you know, name on the label for my stuff. So he's like, your name is on your bag. And he walks and he takes my hand and gives me the label with, you know, your like flight sticker on it, the one that they kind of like put in between the handle, like your rolling handle and like the little bag handle. And so he gives that back to me, which of course I'm just like, the heck? Why is this even happening? So he also gives me a piece of paper, which in my opinion looked like it had his phone number on it. And I just didn't even want to bother. I just wanted to get out of the situation. So I take that paper and I give it back to him and I said, no, thank you. I don't need this. And so we walk outside and he's following us, and we see Emerald's car. He's got like this little Jetta. And we get into the Jetta. I take the front seat. Penguin gets in the back with my luggage. And then at that point, I mean, Emerald has the windows rolled down, and he's just like, what are you guys taking so long? And I get in the car, and then Logan comes up to the window, and he's like, oh, so this is your boyfriend. So I go and I kiss Emerald on the cheek. I figured he'd be comfortable because it's not like we're not comfortable like that anyway. I mean, that's another story. We're comfortable like that, okay? He would be okay with it as long as there was an explanation after. Which I definitely was going to give him, just not until after we had left the vicinity. So, he, Logan, has like this look of shock on his face, and then I roll up the window, or before I roll up the window, I'm like, no, and it's still not your business. And I roll up the window at that point and we drive off. So we think nothing of it and we get to our Airbnb. And then after that, I just am like, I'm kind of irritated and whatnot. And I know we have to go back to the airport to pick up our friend Danny because she came in at a later time. So we have most of the day ahead of us. We start talking about the plans we're going to make. Like we're gonna go like grocery shopping and make sure we have everything we need for the week that we're all gonna be there, because this is leading up to our Emerald's brother's wedding, so which was why we were there. So which was funny because before I even had the dream, I didn't know when the wedding was going to be or where the wedding was going to be. So it was weird finding out a couple days later that the wedding and stuff was going to be in Florida. So I was just like, all right, okay. All right, I'm down for this. Like, you know, stuff happens. It was pretty exciting, you know? So we get to the new place, and we take the stuff inside. Everybody picks I picked my room because it has two beds in it. So I figured that either I'm gonna be in that room, and then someone else was gonna be in there with me. We ended up getting a 3-bedroom Airbnb, and it like mixed between, because I've been to Florida twice. So the Airbnb in the dream was a mix between the first place that I was at, where it had 2 couches, and then they were like, I guess, perpendicular to each other or on the corner of each other. And then the TV was in front of that. And then 3 bedrooms past the kitchen. So 1 bedroom had 2 beds in it, a twin and then a full, and then the other one had, or the other 2 just had like queen beds or whatever. So it was fine. So we took, I picked the 1 bedroom because I figured if anybody else decides to stay, like the fiancés, if they wanted to stay, they could have their own room. I'd want Danny to have her own room, and I don't mind sharing a room with whoever. Like, I really don't care. I don't even mind staying on the couch because one of the couches was futon, which was really weird now that I think of it. Anyway, um, so I unpack and get everything ready to go, and there's a knock on the door. So my inner monologue is like, there's no fucking way. Like, it already knows. Like, my inner monologue that's just sitting there and watching everything already knows exactly who's gonna be at the door. And yes, it was Logan. Why? Why am I dreaming about this? So the inner me is like, is that Ryan and Erica, which is the fiancés that we're here for? And I tell Emerald to go get the door. So because I'm automatically assuming, because the voice in my head is like, oh, it's probably them, because subconsciously I would think that it's someone I know who's going to be there and not some dude that just followed me from the airport. You know, that's just what made sense. Meanwhile, my inner monologue is like, this is what's happening. This is what you're dealing with right now. This is what we've brought to fruition right now. And there's still knocking going on the door. And Emerald's letting me know that their flight hasn't landed. So their flight lands like an hour after. So we could have stayed and waited for them, or gone and then, but we ended up going because they were going to go to the mom's house and not stay with us for the first night because they had their kid, so they wanted to get everything set up for the kid at the mom's house. So that was that. We're all good. So now the knocking is getting a little more aggressive. It's getting aggressive. And we're just like, okay, what the heck? This is very irritating. I don't know what's going on. So Penguin then looks out the window and is like, oh my god, no effing way. And then he calls me. And I'm like, what? And then the doorbell is just aggressively ringing. And so when Penguin calls me by my real name, I know things are serious because he normally calls me by Pax, which most people that you'll see here occasionally or on Twitch and whatnot, they all usually call me Pax or Raven. My old account was Mama Pax, and my current account is Raven Vicky. So, this is Raven Victoria Anderson or Raven Vicky. All of my social media is going to be to Raven Vicky. I don't have social media for the Mama Pax account anymore. It just doesn't exist. And I don't have any social media except for Facebook for my real self. So, I'm just over here like, what is going on? I'm so irritated at this point. So I go to the door and I open it up and it's Logan and I see red. So my inner monologue is, oh god, this isn't good, because me mad is never a good thing. And you know, everybody says, I know it's a cliche, everybody says, ooh, when I'm mad, it's never a good thing. Yes, it's true. Everybody has their own reactions to being mad. But I wanted to go in fight mode, which is what I usually want to do. Have I ever been in a fight? once in my life when I was 13, but that's a completely different story. Other than that, so I've opened the door and I see Red, I see Logan, and Penguin, bless his soul, grabs me from behind, puts his hand around my mouth, and he's holding me. Granted, I more than likely gave him permission to do so. Like, I don't remember if I did or not, because I don't like being lifted. It's not that I don't like being touched, it's just I don't like being lifted. If you pick me up, I will freak out. I will have a moment and whatnot, which is also another story that maybe or maybe not you'll hear about, but I'm working on it. It's getting better. I'm to a point now where if you tell me ahead of time, my brain says, okay, you know, it's gonna happen, you're fine, and then I'm fine. So I either gave him permission or something beforehand because I was fine with it. And so he's there holding me and pulling me back into the kitchen so that I don't rip this person's head off. Because how would you feel if someone followed you from an airport to your personal residence? Even though it wasn't truly my personal residence, a personal residence. How would you feel? It's crazy. So then, uh, I just can't. So before Penguin gets me, I start to say, who the flying? And, you know, it's one of those movie type moments when you're like going to have a moment like that. So Emerald then goes to the door and he's like, uh, can I help you? I don't know why you followed us, but I will call the police if necessary. So then, I can't even. I just can't even. He, uh, he Logan then says, no, there's no need for that. I just wanted to apologize. Who follows people to apologize? Who thinks of or who imagines that someone's gonna follow you randomly to your Airbnb to apologize to you? Who puts that in their brain while they're sleeping? Apparently me. So Emerald says, you stalked us to apologize? It was made clear she wasn't interested in anything you had to offer. My inner monologue at that point is like, I don't understand why he is so entitled right now. And Logan says, okay, I get it. Hear me out. Yeah, I know it's creepy, but I don't know why I followed you. I just did. And here I am. And can we talk? So Emerald is then like, yeah, sure, whatever. Come on in. And he's looks at Penguin, who still has me like struggling and stuff, and they walk into the living room. Logan sits on the couch to the in the corner on the left or whatever, on the left wall. So if you're facing the TV, he's in the one on the left wall facing like this, and we're on the one facing like this. So Emerald tells Penguin to bring me over and sits me between him and Emerald. And we're just kind of like sitting there and seeing what's going on. He then has both of them. They're both now like holding me back, kind of like, you know, kind of in that reassuring, like, it's okay, don't do anything stupid. And then the kind of like, okay, we gotta kind of hold her back because she might do something crazy. And so I look at Logan and I say, talk. And then I woke up. And that's part one. Yeah, part one. That happened. So that first dream happened on May 13th of 2021. And the second dream happened on 2 days later on the 15th. today is June 7th, the day before my birthday. The third dream happened on May 20th, and the most recent dream happened on June 1st. So I'm gonna do this based off of each dream, I guess. So I'll see you guys next time for round two. Peace out, and don't do anything that I would do. Alright? Bye.